Update time. Obviously, you know that this is another video regarding a PSA submission I made and the results. But before we dive in, I have a small update from the first submission. In that sub, we ended the video with quite a few cards still left for sale, and a total investment into those cards of $369.03. Since the end of that video, we've had a few sales. All but one of those sales came from the cards I sent to ComC. First off, we sold the Sorokin Young Guns Canvas PSA 9 for $35.72 after fees. We also sold the Cider Young Guns PSA 9 for $43.77, the Darlene Color Wheel Marquee Rookie PSA 9, and the Batherson Young Guns PSA 9 also went for $43.14 and $18.06 respectively. And finally, the Matthew Tkachuk Platinum Blue Tracks PSA 9 sold for $30.86. However, we made one more big sale. We sold the Patrick Kane Future Watch Auto. As for how much of that sale I can include into the profit from the first PSA sub, I believe that the Robertson that came from that original PSA order covered about half the Patty Kane. I did grade the Kane as well, so I would say therefore add about half the grading fee for the Patty Kane to my costs here. And with that being said, after the sale of the Kane for $786.60, half of that being $393.30, I'm currently profitable on the first PSA order. I am up $155.94, with quite a few cards still left to keep and sell. But that's old news. Since that sub, we've had two more subs come back. In this video, I'm going to be going over my second ever PSA sub. So let's get into it. What's going on YouTube? Flippin out SC coming with a brand new video. And in today's video, we're going to review how I did on my 26 card PSA order that I submitted back on April 6th. The order arrived to PSA on April 10th and was entered on April 13th. It was then shipped back to me on May 9th. It really felt like this one flew, especially compared to the previous one that sat in QA1 for about as long as this whole order took to be completed. The cards I sent in for this order cost me $342.85 in total. The shipping to PSA cost $10.85 because I got to send them from the US. Luckily this time, we had zero ship my cards fees, as I spent the past summer back in Canada and got the cards shipped directly home so that I could ship them out on my own. However, this time I sent cards in without a special pricing, and the shipping back to Canada does cost a bit more than shipping to the USA. So therefore, the cost of the grading fees along with the return shipping set us back another $740.45. All in all, we were into the order for $1,094.15. And again, this is all Canadian dollars, as I myself am Canadian. So what did we send in for round 2? Well, let's dive in. First off, of the 26 cards we sent in, 3 were from other sports. 1 football, 1 basketball, and 1 baseball. Let's start with the baseball. I sent in this Vladdy Guerrero Jr. Bomb Squad Rapture Parallel. This one came back at 10, and I was happily able to sell it for $51.34 after fees. The other 2 other sports were this Trey Lance Rookies and Stars Airborne Insert, red parallel jersey numbered 5 out of 99, and this Tyler Hero Chronicles Essentials red numbered to 149. These 2 cards both came back as PSA 9s and both have yet to sell. Now, into the hockey, where I make my bread and butter. Things started off slowly with a couple young guns from the Senders and Josh Norris and Drake Batherson. I have a lot of belief in these 2 for this upcoming season, so I was hoping to get a couple 10s to hold for the start of the season, but sadly both of these guys came back as PSA 9s. I sold the pair for a combined $56.01 and cut my losses. I was into the pair for a bit more, as I had bought them closer to the start of the previous season, but I just didn't feel like holding 9s, so I figured selling them and working down the amount I was into the order for as a whole would be best. Next, we move into a few more young guns. I sent in this Mercer Young Guns, along with a pair of Adam Fox Young Guns. All 3 of these got returned to me as PSA 10s. I sold the Mercer for $91.28 after fees, while the Foxes sold for $95.81 and $91.72 respectively. I traded into one of the Fox and got the other one for quite cheap at a card show in Phoenix, so I made a fair amount of profit on both of them. I also bought the Mercer before his little breakout last season, so there was another nice little margin on that card as well. From Young Guns, we move into Future Watch Autos. I picked up this Troy Terry Future Watch Auto Raw at the same Phoenix card show, and as much as I do like Terry, I had a bit of regret after buying it. With the price I was into it at, in order to profit on it, I figured that it had to come back at 10 or nothing. His market really wasn't that hot at the time, and due to it being the off-season, he wasn't in the public eye at all. Luckily, it did come back at 10, and I managed to sell it for a very small profit at $121.04. I was very glad to move on from that card. I'll definitely be looking at getting into more Future Watch autos in the future. I just didn't feel like holding Terry with all of the other young talent on the Ducks team was such a great idea. Now, to move into O-Pee-Chee Platinum. I sent in 2 Platinum rookies that I picked up on ComC, and both of them fared quite well. This Gabe Vilardi O-Pee-Chee Platinum Black Pack Wars parallel came back at 10, along with this Clayton Keller Retro Blue out of 149. The Vilardi hasn't sold yet, but the Keller went quickly. It was a pop 1 and sold for $85.50 after fees. I know that Vilardi just got hurt, but I'm hoping he comes back quick and fits in well with the Jets this year, and that can bump up his value a bit. These Black Pack Wars are a low print run, and I believe that this card is still a pop 4 in PSA 10 condition. Going back to PSA 9s, we got back 3 Ovechkin cards in PSA 9 condition. The one which I really figured would be a PSA 10 was this Allure Pink Leopard card. The centering wasn't perfect, but it was close enough in my opinion, and there really weren't any other flaws, so I'm not sure what they saw that was a big enough flaw to knock it down a grade, but either way, we still sold it for a profit when we received $130 for it. The other 2 Ovechkin PSA 9s were parallels from Metal Universe, which never usually receive 10s anyways. The retail blue parallel, and this E-Pack exclusive Spectrum parallel. The blue Spectrum had a pop of 3 with none higher than a 9, and the Spectrum itself was a pop 1 with also none higher. However, I can confidently say that the Spectrum 9 is no longer the highest grade. If you hit that subscribe button, you may get to see why in a future video. I still haven't sold either Spectrum parallel, but I'm okay with holding a few decent Ovechkins. I mean, the guy's kind of a legend. The last 2 PSA 9s we received were this 2017 McDavid Silver Foil, which I have yet to sell, and this Crosby Ovechkin Rookie Showdown. If you recall my last PSA submission video, you may remember me saying that I had quite a few of these to send in, and I would do so over time. With this order, I decided to send 3 of them. The other 2 came back as PSA 10s. I sold the 9 for $95.81, and one of the 10s for $243 after fees. I've kept another 10 as, again, I don't mind holding a few of these for a rainy day. Next, we have a card in my favorite parallel, Speckled Foil Rainbow. This Marner Speckled Foil Rainbow came back at PSA 10 and was a pop 2. And just remember, Maple Leafs fans will buy anything, and same goes for this card. It didn't take them long to scoop this guy up for a cool $49.86 after fees. And finally, we've made it to the canvas cards. As per our last order, we again had a few 2018 Ovechkin canvas that came back in PSA 10. We sold these 2 for $87.34 and $88.46, a little bit lower than our previous sales, but it was the summer, so I kind of expected that. Next, we tried to make a play on a few lower value canvas cards. We got back 3 2019 McDavid Upper Deck canvas in PSA 10 and 1 2019 Matthews canvas in PSA 10. I've still got 2 of the McDavids and the 1 Matthews, but 1 McDavid did sell for $66.27. And last but not least, we have a card we were lucky to pick up before they jumped in price a little bit. This 2019 canvas checklist of McDavid and Ovechkin that we got a PSA 10 on. We ended up selling this one as well for $75.59. Since we were at home, we did have to ship all these cards out, so there was that cost as well, which totaled $72.15. After all was said and done, we've already become profitable in this order and are up $262.73 with quite a few cards left to go. I'm extremely happy with how the second order went as well, and all the amazing cards I still have left in my collection. But that's it for this one. Feel free to drop a like and let me know what your favorite card from this PSA return was in the comments. I'd also love to hear if any of you made any big flips this past summer. But until next time, we'll catch you on the flip side.